You know, it's fun when you have a test, especially a statistics test, which is what I had today. And you know, I had studied, and that's not that bad. But earlier this week, I was quite concerned because my calculator, it was working, and then 20 seconds later, it wasn't, and I had to press each button, incredibly hard just to get it to show up on the screen, and the on button wasn't working. It was quite frustrating, but then my roommate fixed it by taking off all the buttons and cleaning them, which was great. I was like, thank God. So I get to my class this morning, right, about to take the test, and you're thinking, oh, your calculator's not working again, is it? No. Look in my backpack. Calculator not there. Great. So I asked my professor, I'm like, hey, Frieder, because that's what we're allowed to call him, can I go get my calculator? And he's like, how long will it take you? And I'm like, 15 minutes? And he was like, sure. So I run out of the psychology building, and I go to the nearby bus stop. Luckily, there's a bus coming in about a minute, but it was more like 2, but whatever. So I get on that bus, and it takes me to where I need to go in about 5 minutes, and I run upstairs to my room, grab my calculator, come back down, and I'm like, I have a bike. Let's take that. Now, the reason I hadn't taken my bike earlier that day is because I am not a physically fit person. And every time I ride my bike, for some reason, my legs become pieces of wood that don't move, and I feel like I'm pedaling through mud, and it's terrible. But I was like, this is gonna be faster. It was, but I still felt like death. But I got back in 15 minutes. It was great. And I get back, and so I'm waiting outside, and my professor comes out of the door, and he's got this really awful look on his face, and he's like, really apologetic, and I'm like, oh god, I'm not gonna be able to take this test because you were wrong, and I'm gonna fail, and it was terrible. But what turns out happened is that there weren't enough copies of the test, so there was no test for me until our TA got there. So I got to sit outside the room where everyone else was taking a test for about an hour, and then I went upstairs because I now had to take my test in a different room than everybody else because I don't quite know. So I get in this sketchy background elevator with my professor, and we go up to where his office is, and I get to sit in this little room, and he's like, I have to take your phone so you can't communicate with anyone. I was like, okay. And he's like, do you have any other sorts of things that you could communicate with the outside world? And I was like, I have my laptop, but you know, whatever. And he was like, whatever. So he leaves, and I'm in this little room taking my test. And he comes back 20 minutes later, and he's like, I changed my mind. The Bible says stuff about temptation. I need to take your laptop. So he took my laptop, and I was like, oh, okay. So I took the test. There was a problem that I was like, it was only 3 points, but it was like, how do you do this? I don't understand. And I had 3 hours to do it, but I only did it an hour and a half, because I don't know, I didn't need all the time. So I went and gave it to him, and he was like, what? Why are you done? This is weird. And I was like, why is this weird? It's whatever. So then he gave me back my stuff, and I left. So that was my morning. It was unpleasant and misfortunate, and I'm iffy about this test. I don't know. I'm gonna go watch Downton Abbey because there's a new episode last week that I haven't gotten to watch yet, and maybe, you know, upper and lower class British Yorkshire people will make me feel better and less confused.